Hello there, and thank you so much for tuning in to my channel today, Brown Eyes, on this beautiful, amazing day today. Because remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. We are to think upon things that bring a good report. I tell you, you might not always get the things that you desire, but it should never be because you're thinking about negative things that dictates the type of results you get. I'm making this video today. I hope everyone is in a beautiful spiritual place today. I hope you're constantly striving towards uh, spiritual relief and release and understanding. Because this is a spiritual walk at the end of the day. Although it is dictated through our flesh, we're supreme spiritual beings. We've just been dumbed down to the fact that we don't know anything about anything that's really relevant pertaining to the growth of us all spiritually. So I'm just making this video because I just want to encourage you to not get stuck in your situation. A lot of times you may cannot change your situation per se physically, but I think that it has a lot to do with your mind frame and the things that you're putting into your spirit while you're going through your thing. A lot of times we won't have the support system. We won't have people to confide in to kind of pat us on the back and tell us it's okay, it's going to be all right, and you can do it, you're great, you're awesome. We may not ever find anyone like that, but that's okay. It's okay once you get in tune with the spiritual man on the inside of you. That is the man that continues to carry you. That is the one that continues to minister to you. That is the one that continues to educate you, and that is the one that continues to love you. So a lot of times we're dictated by the negative thoughts that we form or we allow to enter into our thoughts. A lot of times we move based on our own perception of ourselves. And a lot of times, if you've experienced some hardships or some traumatic events in your life, then you're viewing yourself in a very negative, damaging way. And that is very detrimental to the outgrowth or, the outcome of your life. I mean, it stunts your growth when you're constantly beating yourself up because you're not this person and because you're not where you want to be or because of things that may have happened in your life. You shouldn't let those things be the things that validate you. I mean, it's easy for people to live behind their money, their fame, their success, all of the beautiful aspects of life, to hide behind those things. But who are the people without those things? It's easy to be happy. It's easy to give your brothers and your sisters words of encouragement when your life is at its peak, or just when it seems like this is just your day. Everything is together for you. It's easy to give out to other people then. But how do you feel and how do you perceive and how do you view yourself when it seems like everything is depleted in your life, everything is negative in your life? Do you continue to reach out and give out beautiful things to other people because that's the right thing to do and because that's who you are ultimately? Or do you give out good things based on how you're feeling at the time? So, what I'm saying, my kings and my queens, this beautiful, amazing day today, is that first, the perception has to be lovingly towards ourselves. Um, we have to build the things that's going to make us feel better about ourselves before we can even believe that we can get the desires of our heart. I understand that a lot of times circumstances will change you. A lot of times circumstances can break you down. Do you hear me? But if we can just master the ability to think upon things that bring a good report and hold your position in your happiness, in your high frequency ness, if you will, then keep yourself at a higher level and frequency, then you wouldn't be so quick to be moved when things come, because we know things are going to come. It has nothing to do with the things. You hear me? It has nothing to do with the people that it come through. but it has everything and something that you're supposed to get as far as your spiritual growth, so that you won't be knocked down by every little weather, every little bump in the night. When the storms of life seem that they're going to overtake you, then you will know that that there's a greater, higher being that is totally in control of everything. We just have to connect with that, and that is on the inside of all of us. That's just like anything that you love. You're going to nurture it, you're going to build on it. If it's something that excites you, you're going to make sure you put in the work to investigate and learn everything you need to know about this particular thing that you may love. But for the things that's really important to your spiritual man, it seems like we have so many negative distractions out here that is not something that people easily pursue, because everybody's spirituality is Christianity. But we know in Christianity, people go to church every Sunday, pay their tithes and offerings faithfully, and go home still damaged, if not more damaged than when they first went to church. So we know that something is seriously missing and lacking in this religion called Christianity. So I just humbly ask that maybe you should to try something a little bit higher, something a little bit more elevated, something that can boost you spiritually, so that you can give out good things to people who are hurting and people who are in need. Because when people latch out at you, when people act like they're your enemy, it's not really that person, it's the spirit operating through that person. Only thing we're looking at is what they're going through. When a person is mean and ugly to you, it's not that person. All thing you're seeing is the circumstance. You're seeing the hideous thing that they endured is the thing that's attacking you. So if the hideous thing that your so-called enemy is attacking you, imagine what it is doing to that individual, and it's in them. So although we're not to join ourselves, we're not to be unequally yoked with other people, or unlike-minded people who are not on the same frequency level, people who are not one-minded and same-mindedness. That's a dangerous thing, to join yourself with opposites like that. But we are, however, for our own spirituality's sake, we are to when people throw out bullshit to you, we are to remain peaceful and remain the God and goddesses and kings and queens that we are. And it's not just the name, it's the meaning in the name that we are to represent. You feel me? So if you're claiming king and queen status, then that's what you're supposed to represent, is king and queen status. It doesn't mean you're picture perfect and you're getting it all together, but it means that you're going to stand your ground in the midst of adversity. It means that you're not going to follow the status quo. If someone is cussing you out like a dog, do you curse them out like a dog? Or do you get just stoddy and hooder than them to make it seem like you're the bad person, when in actuality it was the other person, but you overkilled it because of your issues of life surfaced? So that is the thing I'm saying. And to make sure that your issues of life does not surface on people, that's why it's important to, on your alone time in your secret place, that is the time that we're supposed to build our spiritual man, so that when we are loose into this created matrix, this world full of every negative thing that there could possibly be, then you won't be so easily persuaded and knocked down with the cares of this world, for they are many. So if you don't find yourself reaching your goals sooner than you want, or if your heart's desires seem like they're procrastinating, and they're taking the time to knock on your door and to join yourself with it, you know what I'm saying? To whom much is given, much is required. Remember the parables, because I've come to the understanding that the Bible really is just to illustrate, to give you hope, or to tell you a story about something, to help you think a certain type of way. And that's all I can take from it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think it's literal. Because once I think about the stories themselves, then it has to be something that's helping me now. You know what I'm saying? But they use people to give you the visual, because it seems like when it's people involved, not just the story, but when you put a name and a person behind the story, they become alive and relatable. So, but at the same time, it doesn't make it true. It's just a parable to get your attention, an example, an illustrated example, if you will, at best. But think about the characters in the Bible, and I think, for example, we're going to talk about Naomi, Ruth, and old famous Boaz. Now, you remember Naomi had suffered a great loss. She had lost her husbands, she had lost her sons, and she had two daughter-in-laws. And one of them, she encouraged them both to go on back to your home. I can't give you anything. I mean, my breasts. Well, I mean, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm too old. I ain't finna have no son. You're gonna wait till he grow up before you can marry him? Well, come on now, be real. You need to go to your house, go back to your home, to your land, and let your family take care of you, which was custom in those days. You know what I'm saying? If she had another son, she could have married the other son. It would have been acceptable in those days because they kept they kept the bloodline period. It was still in the family. It was no wrongdoing. She wouldn't have been stoned to death for that. Today she'd be labeled as a hoe. But there is no new thing underneath the sun. But Naomi suffered such a great loss, man. She lost her husband, she lost both of her sons. So she encouraged her daughter-in-law to go back to your home. Now, the first one, which I forgot her name, she really didn't need much persuading. She probably like, shit, man, I ain't finna starve out here trying to hang with you. You ain't got no man. We ain't got no money. I might as well go home. You're right, Ruth. I love you, but our time is up. But uh, with Naomi, but Ruth, that is, Ruth would not give in, and she would not turn her back on Naomi, and she stuck with her because she understood that the bond was a little bit more spiritually connected with them too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's amazing. Get this now. Now, Naomi felt like her life was over, so she really was going back to her homeland to really die, to just make peace and just die because she felt like she had no other purpose at this point because her body was past childbearing years. She didn't have a mate in her life, and she was scuffling really to get her own land. So, just like any widow, the society, the negative, crappy, uh, morally depleted men in those days would try to just take advantage of you. So, but Ruth, she decided to remain faithful because she honestly, actually, really loved this woman. Now, people tell you they love you every day, but when see, love is so diluted. The word love is so diluted now that when you tell a person you love them, it's really nothing. However, if you've constantly been investing in nurturing and showing people that you love them, then when you actually say the word I love you, then it is well received. Other than that, you're just talking out the side of your neck, honey. You're just speaking words that mean nothing. You just need to shut your mouth. I guess most people really don't understand what love is. But Naomi had given up, but she was constantly praying and she was constantly believing. She saw hope now. When she realized that Ruth was not going to leave her, she went in her old school wisdom thinking, said, okay, you're not going to leave? Okay, well, you know what? This is what we need to do then. Ain't no need of you getting old. You too young for that shit now. You need to come on and work what you got, sister. You feel me? You ain't finna grow old. You still got perky titties. You got a big donk on you. You're pretty. Come on now. We need to work this shit. We got to eat. So a long story short is, she ended up finding favor with not just anybody, but the one who could change their life significantly for the better. And not only did Naomi find purpose again, it was so much purpose handed to them. It was purpose intentionally handed to Ruth when she was out there in the land and the sheathing and gathering. But the Creator also gave back Naomi purpose in the way of that she was past birthing stage, but she was able to nurse this baby. Her body formed milk to actually nurse this baby. Now her children were grown now. She didn't have nothing going on, probably was menopause and everything. You probably didn't even get horny no more. But the Creator gave her purpose. So what I'm saying, and I know I'm saying a lot, but it's very real and significant to the journey to acquiring the desires of your heart through your thinking. Naomi didn't give up. She didn't know how it was going to happen, but she did not give up. She had made peace to go home to her land and just, die, but it was so many things that could have taken place positively there too because it was a hometown. You know what I'm saying? She knew people that would at least look out. They wouldn't let her starve to death, so that was better than nothing where she was at because they couldn't even eat. They were struggling. But she found purpose in the midst of her storm. And once she was able to nurse this baby, and you know what I'm saying, gave her purpose, gave her some a big ass pep to her step, and she was revitalized in her thinking and in her body. I'm sure that took off 20 or 30 years off of her, and she began to look like a young, refreshed woman again. You hear me? So never get caught up in the negative aspect of your trials and your tribulations, because that is exactly what it is, a trial and a tribulations, and things do not stand still. Just because you're in a thing that you're not wanting to be in now does not mean that that is your sentence to life. We have the ability to transform our negative thoughts into something positive so that we can receive positive results. So that's why I'm asking you to constantly think upon things that bring a good report, because so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. So take the good, leave the negative, build yourself, build people who are not more conscious, who are negative on themselves. That is a very good medicine for your spirit, is when you find your situation and it has your energy so negative, you don't just pay so close attention to your own negative need that you can't embrace or perhaps help someone out when they're going through. You know what I'm saying? That is the easy way to get your eyes off your own situation so that it can work out, is when you start building other people up and take your eyes off your own. I ain't saying forget about it. I'm not saying not address it and correct it and do what you need to do to make it grow. But you can, if it's negative, you can't afford to dwell there. You may have slept overnight 1 or 2 days, but your damn show ain't trying to move in. You hear me? So, having said all those things, I thank you so kindly for tuning in to Miss Brown Eyes today on this beautiful, amazing, wonderful day. Because remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. We ought to think upon things that bring a good report. And I just encourage you to constantly think upon things that bring you good reports, so you can always have a beautiful smile on your spirit. Thank you so much for tuning in to Brown Eyes. Thank you. I ask that you leave me a comment, like, subscribe, chat with a sister, and I will talk to you another time. Bye.